Okay, so this is the vote for the second game on the 2nd of December of 2020. And we have Ornn, Jarvan, Kayle, Ezreal, Galio against Seraphine, Ashe, Lissandra, Trundle, Malphite. These are two rather late game comps, even though Ezreal, Kayle will outscale them. Also with the Ornn and Ornn providing the upgraded items, so the scaling is better on the red team other than in the blue team. Then again, if you're looking for scaling, we are not looking to make too much of aggressive plays. Ganks or mid lane on mid lane are not really favorable for us, since Kayle doesn't have any kind of hard CC that can prevent the Lissandra from getting away. And yes, we do have the Jarvan, but the gank potential is not that good on that lane. While we can try to put some pressure on bot lane since we have the Galio. Or even on the top lane, so we can release some pressure out of Ornn. He has a favorable matchup against Malphite, so if we also can give him some lead, it's good. Once again, on top lane we're looking to set up freezes around this area. And if not, well, we're just looking for farm. Mid lane and bot lane, same thing, we're looking for farm. If we can get good ganks off in any lane, that's good, but we are not trying to look for that. Anyway, we should start with a 5 point. This is fine. Once again, okay, so we do see him here, I believe. Yeah, we see them, we ping, that's good, we back off. We know that there's two here. If we felt like it, we could have gone and put ward like here, but it's not needed. Once again, this ward right here is not too much of a help. If we wanted a defensive ward, maybe this push would have been better. But there's not much difference between this and this one. Moving on. So since the only lane which is maybe gankable, the idea will be clearing towards the bottom side and try to get gank off. That means that we need to communicate with the bot lane to probably either shove two waves into the tower, so then the wave shoves back, bounces back, I mean, and then we can get a good gank off, or we just let the lane freeze here and we don't push or let be pushed, because we don't want to fall into having too many minions on their side if we're getting a gank off. Okay, this gank here is a bit weird. And again, it's a kill. Okay, so if we are thinking of getting this kind of gank off, we need to coordinate this better. We need to put the mid laner on the right side so we can try to pressure the enemy mid laner onto the upper left side and then get the gank with the flag and drag. Other than that, if we don't do that and if we have such a big wave, this is really bad for an an attempt of a gank. So this doesn't work in anything, yes. We keep on going. It's fine. Okay, so on bot lane. Okay, so they got level 2 somewhat at the same time, but Seraphine has way more pressure than Galio if they're playing so far back. So we need to respect that. And since we're playing with an Ezreal, the only thing we want is to let Ezreal farm. We don't want to get aggressive positioning if we don't have the jungler to make something happen, because otherwise we are taking damage for no reason, which happens here. This was not needed. This was too much damage taken. Okay, so right now, jungler is finishing romp, and he looks at bottom. The red side is pushing, so either we communicate that if we want to gank, you need to hard push this in fast, so it can hit the tower, or we just last hit and wait for the next wave to fully push in, and then we can try to look for something. Okay, living for vision right here is not great, because then you're leaving the wave right here. Then again, you need to push it in before you go for vision. Uh, Once again, let's prioritize things like Scuttle in the early game. I understand this looks like a gankable lane, but then again, we have Lissandra who still has Flash and SE, so this gank is not optimal, and in the meantime, you're losing the tempo on the Scuttles. You go for this instead of going for Scuttle. You should have gone for Scuttle, and you kind of took a little XP meat, even though there's not much an issue. Okay. Nothing happens. You end up going for the Scuttle on bot side. That's fine. Okay. The wave is pushing into the bot lane, into our bot lane, so the play is you take Scuttle and try to look for something bot. Seraphine has no E. Okay. Wondering. Okay, so here the jungler could have gone through the tri-bush instead of going directly through here, because you're gonna have to go through this piece of land, which is gonna slow you down, while here it's almost the same time, but you'll be able to cut them off, while here you won't be in a position to cut them off. You'll have to use flash. To make this engage work a little better, the Galio could have, instead of Eing first, so from the moment he's here, he can already E in and then flash for W. I understand that we wanted to force her flash, but we could have played a bit better. Okay, so we killed, and now we just back. This was a necessary force. End up giving 2 kills to Trundle, which turns into Dragon. Yeah, which turns into Dragon. A good gank on mid. So now that we are somewhat close to level 6, things change a little bit, and yeah, we'll probably looking to smash bottom with ganks like Jarvan going in and Galio ulting, or Galio trying to get a E taunt off into Jarvan, but we are looking to make plays of the bot lane and not everywhere else, because Lissandra then again has flash, E, or ult. Malphite has flash or ult, so those are not really good gankable lanes. Even though Ashe has her ult as well, yeah, but other than that, she doesn't have actually mobility to leave and survive. Neither Seraphine, other than their flashes, and the flashes are down, so from the moment we know that the flashes are down, we need to put pressure on the bot lane. Okay, so right here, where is the... Okay, yeah, good. Okay, so here we see Trundle, and we have a pretty decent wave on bot lane. So right now the call is we're gonna dive this. We aim for the Seraphine, we kill her, and we get out. You guys end up not doing that. Yeah, we should have pulled the trigger on bot lane. We had a good way for that. On the other hand, this play was a bit unnecessary. We could have gotten more. Okay, this is too much of a overchase. Like, we're going into the jungle without necessity, and we're not gonna get anything out of this. In the meantime, if Ezreal would have stayed bot lane and farmed, we probably would have gotten a tower plate, and we would be getting the gold onto Ezreal. And then again, the main point of this game is to get gold onto Ezreal and Kayle. So we gotta keep that in mind and work for that, and not trying to invade or stuff like that. We can go and try to get vision, but we are not leaving lanes just to put pressure on this jungle, because if we can get gold on our carries, that's a better option for us. So there's still 2 minutes and a half for Drake. We still know that there is no flashes on bot lane, and right now bot lane is building a little bit of a wave, so the wave will push. We could have communicated this to Jarvan, and we try to get a gank off on bot lane again, because that's where we want to put more pressure on. Okay, Galio ends up going in, we got a kill, this is good. You guys end up getting that by yourself. Okay, so right now we see Trundle mid, and if Trundle then leaves towards the bot side after this gank, we have an open herald to do. Yeah, so we see Trundle this side of the map. After red, we go for Herald. Yeah. Instead, you went for this, which is not optimal, and we lost a bit of tempo. Even though Trundle goes through here, he might have gone wrong, this Herald, in a retrospective, but it was probably a better play to go for this since we had Kale help, and then we would call Ornn as well. And if he would be around, we would be in a 3v1 or 3v2. Here, the Trundle goes through multiple wards, there was no pings on the map, and our Ornn ends up dying. So next objective is 1 minute, which is Drake. We did see 3 people top, right? Yeah, we see 3 people top. So we got a hard shove mid into the tower and possibly get a plate. In the meantime, we just back off here with Jarvan and start getting ready to move down for Dragon. Okay. Oh, yeah. Here the Cal spends too much time not doing anything. We could have shoved it way faster into the tower when we were seeing Lissandra on top lane. Okay, we work for Dragon. Okay, Lissandra is low HP, she can't contest. We started, we tell bot lane to push. We do a Dragon. This is fine. Good call. Okay, we go back on the lanes. Okay, here you finish Dragon. And yeah, you can look with Jarvan towards this side. Galio comes up as well. At this precise moment, you need Galio ult. Galio ults Jarvan. You fight. Lissandra won't be able to help. Kale will also be able to help. So when this fight happens, so right now, Kale needs to help Jarvan and forget about this Lissandra right now. Yeah, from this flash, she just moves down. Instead, Kale stays mid. Shouldn't have gone to help the Jarvan because this Trundle would have been a kill. Okay, since Kale doesn't come to help, after this doesn't happen, you just run. You just all run. Okay, you overstayed quite a bit, and then you end up dying. Ezreal gets a kill back. They end up flashing and ulting with Malphite. Doesn't work out. We run away. That's fine. In the meantime, we should be hard pushing mid in because we saw that there was 2 people here. We gotta start pushing lanes if we see people in the other sides. We gotta put more pressure on the map if the people aren't around. In the meantime, we're getting some advantage on top lane. We're getting some gold on the Ornn. This is good. Malphite has no TP. Lissandra has no TP. Which means that we should be in the near future try to do something across the map, so either top or bot, because they don't have TPs to follow. and we still have Ornn TP, then means that we can try to do something on bot lane with Ornn TP, since Malphite doesn't have it. Herald is placed mid. He's gonna get 2 plates. We kill him. It's fine. So then again, the only thing we could have done at this point was let's try to let bot push into us so we can set up a gank, or we hard push in and do a dive because we still have Ornn TP. Okay, so let this was sad. You were out of the bush, they were able to see you, they had vision. So for this gank to work, from this point, you needed to be real quick. And better engage would have been, again, Jarvan with Galio ult. So here, we just... He Q, she flashes, we just flash onto Seraphine, or we try to ult Seraphine. She ends up flashing as well. Okay, this was a good opportunity to just ult Seraphine as Jarvan, because you will probably won't be in tower range, because you'll be around this side, and we could easily kill the Seraphine because she's very squishy. Okay, in the meantime, we don't do that. They have enough time to re-engage on us. Okay, we end up ulting Galio. Okay, so one thing that happens here is... Where's the Sandra? Okay. So we engage. Okay, it doesn't work out. This is good for us. We got 2 flashes. We don't need to re-engage. This is good enough for us. We don't need to re-engage. We can just back off and work on a gank later on. And from the time we see Trundle as well, this is leave. Leave, 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 leave. Trundle has 4 kills, is way too ahead. There's no way we want to keep on fighting. So even if Galio ults here, it's to get out. We don't get close to go back in. We just run. We even see, then we see Lissandra. So we just leave. Yeah. The re-engage here was also unnecessary. We gotta start leaving when there's nothing much we can do. Like right there, Ezreal was probably dead, so there was not much we could have done. Also, if we wanted to re-engage, we could have EQ ult on the backline and leave Lissandra to have to deal with the rest of the team. Here there are 2 plays. Either we leave Ezreal to die basically, and it's not too bad of a loss, or we engage with EQ ult on the backline so we can trap these 3 people, or maybe instantly kill Seraphine, and then leave Kayle and Ezreal to be able to DPS. Now, going like this wasn't very good, which ends up leaving the losing kind of hardest in fight. In the meantime, Ornn killed the Malphite, that's good. End up taking the turret. Drake is in 1 minute. We should soon start preparing it. Okay, that's a good team fight mid. This will probably give us the free Drake, which does. Okay, so we knew that Malphite was really low, so he had to back, and we see Lissandra mid. There is no need for us to have 5 people around here. We could send Ornn or Kayle to bot lane to start clearing this and maybe get some damage on the turret, and we could have said for Ezreal to go mid to take this farm as well. So what I'm saying is, we know that they don't have possibility to fight for this, so we can leave either Ezreal, Galio, and Jarvan to do this, or Kayle, Galio, and Jarvan to do this, and Ezreal goes mid and Ornn goes bot, or Kayle goes mid and Ornn goes bot. But we didn't have to have the 5 people around. Okay, so right now we have the need to lane assignment, because otherwise we're going to be sharing a lot of XP if we put Ezreal, Galio, and Kayle on mid. So we have Galio as mid. We probably have Kayle on bottom, because there's still a tower on their side, and we probably want to play around the bottom side. Herald is up, but then again, Herald after 14 is kind of useless, and if we leave Ornn on top, he can do fine by himself, I expect. Here's a good engage, nice kill, good stuff. Okay. Yeah, so then again, we would prefer Ezreal mid and Kayle on bot instead of Kayle mid. Okay, this was a weird engage. Okay, Galio engages, but Kayle is too far. Ornn is also on the other side. And they already have 3 people here. Lissandra coming from the side. So this is a bad fight. We don't want to take it. We use probably the Ornn ult to just CC them, but we don't want to keep on going for this fight since Galio doesn't evolve. So this was a bit bad, and yeah, this was just a bad fight. We shouldn't have taken. Ash takes bot turret. So again, we always want to put Cal on the side lane and bring the ADC and the support mid. Okay, so we have 3 people top with Herald. Kelly needs to back. So we just give this tower, but then we get ready to kill the Herald. Okay, so one thing, we need to start calling the shots and we need to target focus, because here they're going on Ornn, we jump, we go on Seraphine, which is fine, and then we Galio ult, but Seraphine leaves. If Seraphine leaves, we need to focus on Trundle right now. Trundle is the closest one. We don't have EQ of Jarvan to flag and drag Seraphine, so we go for Trundle. In the meantime, we kind of split focus, and we end up not killing Seraphine. And we end up not killing this guy, or we do. Good, but we lost a lot of resources. And then you end to kill. Okay, so then again, we gotta be more concise with what we do. Since we're not targeting the correct elements. So here we go for the... we flash and go for the Trundle, and Jarvan and Galio are still leaving. Or are already leaving, I mean. So we gotta communicate this a bit better. Because now Ornn is in the middle of nowhere, and Galio is here. In the end, it doesn't become something too bad, because it ends up being a 2 for 2. But the fact that we didn't correctly target focus in the beginning made so Trundle was able to run till here, which made Ornn have the necessity to flash, made him be in a bad position. Then Lissandra came, Galio was also in a bad position, Jarvan had to defend the Herald. So there are a lot of little things here that we could have done better, which is target focusing and go together, communicate better what we want to do, because there was just a lot of mess, and we don't want that. We gotta have a focused target. We want to get something specific, and this was probably just a lot of thoughts that each one tried to do in their way, and it wasn't coordinated. Ezreal is on bot lane, good. After killing this, we know that the Drake is spawning in 60, which means that, and because we saw Malphite and Seraphine on top lane, the play here is to push this wave in and then reset. There is a chase here, so here we also push this wave and then we base. Well, in reality, if the Kayle doesn't need to buy anything, she could stay for another wave, push this wave and then back because she has TP. But this play here on Ezreal is very greedy because the Drake is spawning in 30 and he didn't reset yet. So this is really bad for the timing of the dragon. Okay, ends up being that Trundle is around, which makes you lose a lot of tempo. We end up getting the turret, that's true. But then we are in not a great position to fight, because they're probably coming for, yeah. Okay, we don't know about this, but we can guess because we spent such long time here and our teammates are really far behind. Like Jarvan is doing scuttle while we are fighting on bot lane, and Kayle is farming mid and not TPing. So either one of the two, Ezreal leaves way before to reset for Dragon, which was the good play, or if he stays here, from the moment we see Trundle, so right now we insta TP with Ornn and Kayle at the same time. Ezreal says Trundle is on me, they're engaging on me, and we have Kayle and Ornn TPing. I think Ornn TPs. Yeah, so Ornn TPs. Which looks like this is fine, but I don't know where Malphite comes. In the meantime, Kayle also is not TPing. So if this happens, we need the Kayle TP. And we need the Jarvan to start moving bot. This was probably a miscommunication issue, which leads to Ornn dying. Jarvan is still coming down. Kayle is also not close yet, so yeah. Okay, Drake's gone. There's nothing we could do. We gotta go back to trying to farm, get money on the Ezreal and the Kayle. Right now, Ezreal has a power spike because he just got Sunderer. We have Kayle with also 2 items, Nashers and Riftmaker. This is great, this is crazy. We have a really big power spike. So we want to play for initially poke with Ornn and Galio as frontline, and Ezreal try to get Qs off. And then we are looking for engage. We're looking for Jarvan ult into Galio ult and Ornn ult. And if the Malphite engages on the backline, we'll have Kayle being able to prevent herself or Ezreal to die, with Ezreal also having E. So we play for poke into dive comp or playstyle right now. In the meantime, Kayle has TP, so we put her on the sideline. Okay, so right now, if Jarvan is in this side, we then need to have people towards this side as well. So if we see this ward and Jarvan wants to clear it, Jarvan has to say, I'm clearing this ward and I need you guys to be around, which Galio starts walking, but then comes back, goes walking, comes back. This is fine, but from the moment we see this Trundle, we need to walk. All of us need to walk. We saw Lissandra here, so if we walk, we'll get there faster and we'll be in a good position to fight. In the meantime, Ezreal still farms, and then again, we have a miscommunication, which is Jarvan is fighting, but then he doesn't want to fight, but in the meantime, Galio goes in to fight. So either we say, yeah, we're leaving, or we actually fighting. So we gotta communicate a bit better. I don't know what ends up happening. I see a big fight coming. Okay, good engage. But then again, really bad focus though. He ends up working, but the Jarvan death was unnecessary. We gotta talk more, because this is a really good engage, and I understand why we go on Ashe, but the Seraphine was in a better position to get killed. So here we go for the Seraphine. Okay, so issue is we're clumped here, and Ezreal is not in a position to help, and we don't have Kayle ult, so they have a really big threat to kill us. So we should be more careful, and after this fight we should have left, because Ornn is getting gold on the top side, and there's not really anything we need more here, and we have no vision of Malphite. So we don't have resources, so staying for this is very greedy, since we don't know where Malphite is. Oh, well, we see him here, so from the moment we see him here, we just run towards the top side. But dying. So here, Ezreal, they're dead. Ezreal needs to leave, there's no point in staying. You end up trying to get more spells off, and you end up dying as well. Okay, we have Kayle level 15, and we have Drake in 1 minute. Kayle also has TP, so she's close to 16. We want to send her bot lane. We want to send her to the side lane to get a lot of farm, get that 16 before the next dragon. Yeah, one thing was that indeed Kayle needed to be bottom, and we want the top laner on the other side of the objective if he has TP. So Ornn had TP, he should have been on the top side of the map to draw pressure, instead of the pressure being all over Drake from both teams. Don't get me wrong, they also played it wrong by not having Malphite pushing top or Lysandra, because they both have TP, but we should have done that. You get a good fight off here, I hope. Okay, so what happens in this team fight? Is Jarvan's EQ on cooldown? Let me check. So Jarvan EQ is up right now. Okay, we use it here. And right now, we could have just ulted Lysandra here and Seraphine. So the play here is we engage and we ult the Seraphine and the Lysandra, so we can leave Trundle on the outside of our wall, and we have the ult from Galio to help us. This is a bit too late, and our carries are way too far from the fight. They can't get close. Yeah. So right now we see that Malphite is still bot. So right now we just ult Lysandra and Seraphine, and then we leave Kayle to and Kayle and Azrael to kill the Trundle. Other than that, it's possible that it was better to have Galio defend Azrael and Kayle from this Lysandra other than ulting you here, but at the same time, it's probably the best play to ult you there. Seraphine damage was a lot for the Azrael, end up killing. Boom. We gotta start then just giving stuff when it goes bad. Like right now, we should just run. Yeah, just run, just run, just run, just run. Here, Ornn tries to fight, Kayle tries to fight again. So this is kind of bad. We are in a 4v2, so the only thing we want out of this is to just not die and not give more gold to the enemy team. So we should have just leave instead of staying. They end up killing, getting dragon, blah blah blah.
Blue team has slain the dragon.
There's a lot of not doing much. So we see Malphite here alone. So we could make some pressure with the Jarvan, and we can also have Kayle coming on top to push. So we can make pressure on all lanes, because at this point Kayle is really strong by herself. Ornn can deal with Malphite by himself as well, and then we can have the 3 mid. So in this case, the 1-3-1 is not horrible. It's actually pretty decent. So we can make pressure in both side lanes and then force this mid T1 This mid T1 is really bad that she's still standing because it's denying us a lot of movement from around the map. Yeah, so we're not making too much pressure on bot lane. Ornn doesn't need to leave bot lane because he has TP, so if we have the top lane or the mid lane with TP and they are on the side lanes, let's keep it that way. Let's be on the side lanes, especially if we see so many of them, because that means that we won't be ganked. And if we are in a favorable matchup, like Ornn is into Malphite, we want to keep that pressure up. So they have to either send someone or Malphite will eventually leave, which lets us push even more. And we just play defensive on the other side and we can get an advantage into a turret or an advantage into pressure onto this side, and they will have to send people. And as a repercussion, we can take this mid tower. Okay, on to the finishing of this game. Galio is alone. So we're very indecisive here. It's not great. If we decide to go for dragon, then Ezreal needs to be auto-attacking the dragon. Okay? And right now, so this we start the this was a good call. So we start dragon, we pull it into this side of the map, and then we zone them with Ornn ult. So Ezreal should be on this side with Kayle attacking this dragon with Jarvan and pulling him to this side. Oh, I fucked up. Sorry. So we pull him into this side. This is good. But now Ezreal needs to be here auto attacking, and then Ornn and Galio need to be like on this side protecting and not letting them get close to the pit. Because if we do this, we can just try to take the Drake real quick. And right now, this is a good opportunity to just collapse on Trundle. So we have Ornn ult coming, and we're gonna use it that way again. So they won't be able to come, so we can just force on the Trundle. Jarvan has EQ, so we just flag and drag onto the Trundle, and we try to kill the Trundle. And then by the time that they're out of Ornn's ult, they won't be able to help him. In the meantime, we don't go for him, but we don't finish Dragon. Ezreal is too far from helping with Dragon or killing Trundle or killing any of them, so the positioning is a bit off. Galio is also here in the middle while he's supposed to either defend as or go for an engage. So the positioning here is a bit off as well. Galio should be around Ornn, while Ez should be around the Kayle. We ended up not killing him. This looks like a good fight, but it isn't because our backline is getting totally destroyed. We also don't finish Dragon. Kayle is taking damage from the Dragon without need, and we end up having a really scattered and bad fight. Yep. And they probably just pushed to end here. Yeah. Okay. So to wrap up the game, main issues again were communication. We were doing things somewhat on our own. We weren't communicating well what was to do, so there was a lot of loss of targeting focus. The lane assignment was a bit off again. There were times that we could put the Kayle or Ornn onto the side lanes to drag some pressure into the side lanes, and we didn't, which made sometimes very poor use of the TPs. There were like in the last 10 minutes of the game, we weren't using the Kale or the Ornn TP, so those are inefficient. And in this game, the positioning was a bit off as well. We need to work on how to play the comp and where to place each player.